Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day wherever you are. Welcome, Bob. Welcome, welcome. You are number one today. And to anyone over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, welcome, welcome. Hey, Frankie, welcome. How are you? And you are number two, Frankie, number two. Let's see. Okay, I am going to stop it here today. This is a good starting point. And we'll let everyone else trickle in, trickle in. Hey, Mama Bear Tracy, welcome, welcome. You're number three today. Always going to name my top threes. Okay, so today, guys, I want to talk about failure. Um, I personally think this is all me, my personal thoughts. Welcome, Blasky. These are my personal thoughts that failure is a data point, it's not an endpoint, meaning that it's just another way to manage how you do get to that finish line. I mean, you have people who have started and failed things over and over and over, but they keep trying. Like they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And sometimes it's again and again and again. And we have a lot of people throughout history who have tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed, and they've become successes. So how do you react to failure, or how do you manage it, and what do you consider failure to be? Because in my opinion, and this is my opinion, um, there may be times when you think you have failed, but you really didn't. I mean, just because you don't make millions of dollars, or you don't make the news, or you don't become this big movie star, whatever, does that mean that you failed? You know, if you just helped a couple of people, is that failure? So I guess my question should also be not only how you react to failure, but can you measure it? Can you say that you completely failed, or this was sort of a failure, but not really? But then again, if you just if you were trying to ride a bike, and you only got you were able to pedal just a couple of feet, and then you fell off. Was that a failure? Because maybe the day before you fell off as soon as you tried to pedal. So is the failure that you didn't get all the way down the street, or is the failure that you never even tried? So so that's how I look at failure. And Mama Bear, I've been looking at your at your comments. No, yes. So that is what um I like to know, and that's why I say failure is a data point, and not an endpoint. And I think that for some people, we tend to criticize ourselves if we don't rise up to the level of what everyone else thinks. But we did rise up to our own level, if that makes sense. And Mama Bear, exactly. It might be a failure if you don't try. My show, not last week, but I think 2 weeks ago when I was talking about, um, you know, if you don't succeed, the only person that you can, blame is yourself or something like that. I'm sorry, guys. I get my shows mixed up, but basically, you know, a lot of people say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then they don't do it. Um, I consider that a failure not to at least try. Because in order to succeed, you kind of have to fail. You know, every sports team is not going to win every Super Bowl or every soccer match or every basketball game. They're not going to win all the time. They're not going to come home with the championship all the time. Yeah, you may have your three peats and what have you, but sooner or later, another team is going to win. There can't be a first place unless there's a last place. So, and then we have, and Mama Bear says, true, I know, and it sucks. Yes, I mean, it does suck, but at the same time, it's like, at what point do we allow ourselves to get out of that failure mode and get into, I'm just going to do the best that I can mode? And even if you just do the best that you can, that to me is not failure. Failure to me is if you allow someone else to tell you that you can't do that you can't do something. Failure to me is when you allow other people to tell you that that you're wrong and it won't work or whatever, and you haven't even tried. you know um I have tried so many things in my life. Oh my goodness. I have had businesses that I have tried over and over and they have failed. I have tried so many different things, but I keep trying. And sooner or later, you're going to do something that works for you. And for me, it did. Um, I had to fail in order to succeed. And I'm not just talking about in business. I'm talking about, even if you have, that relationship that isn't going very well. Well, maybe that guy or girl is not the right person for you, but I do believe, like they say, there's someone out there for everyone. Um, you know, um, you just got to keep working at it. So, and Mama Bear says can't win all the time. Mama Bear is trying to think of something and say positive. I'm sorry, or Mama Bear. That's fine. You don't have to try. uh, and Bob's asking Mama Bear if you're well. Okay. I remember trying to get pregnant, and every month I wasn't. I felt like a failure. Uh, And then Boz says to play the other side. What about being realistic in your goals? Yeah, you can be realistic, but at the same time, it's like I'm not going to crush somebody else's dreams if somebody else thinks that they can do this and I don't think so. If it makes you happy every day to think that you're going to go out there and be that superstar and but everyone else thinks that you can't act or you can't sing. Hey, if you want to if it makes you happy just getting out there and singing, whatever, then do it. Um, um, and Mama, let's see. Uh, Okay. Um, I'm sorry, but I thought you were going to say something else. Okay, so and and Mama Bear, we talked about this. I think on the infertility show that I did. I mean, my husband and I went through the infertility thing, but one thing that I never felt like a failure. I never let anyone else, make me feel other. Um, it's like if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But we tried, you know. One of my best boss says one of my best friend really wants to fly like with his arms. Am I wrong for giving my opinion that he is wasting his time? No, no. But at the same time, I think most people know that they can't fly. But if your friend thinks that he can fly, if he thinks that, I mean, when you look at some of the ways how aviation started, with people, and I'm going to say the people who were into science and what have you, who thought that they can fly and and wingspan and all this other stuff. I mean, you look at how the Wright brothers put a plane up in the air. Part of their tries and failures, which led to their success, were putting on wings, and they were able to fly. So, who knows? Maybe your friend can invent something where uh, through a motor or something that people can fly. Um, but there's never anything wrong with giving your opinion. But on the other hand, my thing is the people who are on the receiving end who are listening to that opinion, don't let someone else crush your dreams, because sooner or later you'll find out whether or not you need to move on to something else or keep trying to think that you can really fly. And like I said, he may not be able to fly with his arms, but maybe he'll invent something where you're flying around, with the motor or something flapping your arms. I mean, I don't know. But then again, you had a lot of people who told the Wright brothers that they could never fly. Man was not meant to fly. There will never ever be anything in the air. Back in the 1800s, when people were talking about not having horses and being able to um, get around in cars. When trains came out, and Native Americans called it the iron horse. People never thought that would happen, but it did. So I don't know. So, to tell someone that they're a failure um, is pretty harsh. You may think that someone is a failure, and I'm not saying giving your opinion that something won't work, but I'm saying just downright calling someone a failure. I think that's pretty harsh. So, let's see. Welcome the only crazy lady and Power Girl. Did I welcome you? I apologize if I didn't. If I did, you get two welcomes. Um, and Crazy Lady says failure is successful attempts. Yes. Um, okay, Bob saying he's on night shift. And Caps is here. You keep changing your name, Caps.
Hello there.
Hello, Caps. How are you?
Uh-oh.
Mama Bear says, hi, Caps. Oh, no.
Oh no! I haven't done nothing wrong. I hope you're doing very well.
I am. I
Good
am.
girl.
So, Caps, what do you think about failure? How do you react to failure, or what do you consider failure to be? Or what do you
Brilliant,
consider success?
brilliant, 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 brilliant subject, really. Failure is everything to us because if we wasn't to go through failure, we wouldn't succeed in life because we would not ever learn to lose in order to win. So, yeah.
Okay, so do you think that you should tell someone that and I'm just going to repeat what Boss said. Let me go back. He says, "What if my best friend really wants to fly, like with his arms? Am I wrong for giving my opinion that he is wasting his time?" Now, again, Boss says
No,
giving
no,
his opinion that he is wasting
no,
his
no.
time.
It's not opinion. It's factual. It's being realistic. Now, being realistic is really important. Now, you can't fly with your arms, so you need to slap that person in the face,
Okay,
even mentally. You
okay.
don't have to physically do it. You can mentally do it by telling them they're an idiot, and you'll never achieve that. So, what you need to do is, like ground your feet and understand yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so let me give you my response to that. Welcome Juju. My response to that was when you look at how we learn to fly, how we got it in the air. The Wright brothers, one way they, and I am repeating myself to other people who have heard this, but I'm repeating it for caps. One way the Wright brothers, got planes up in the air where they were literally flying with their arms. They were, trying to, gauge wind and all that other stuff. So yes, they finally got an airplane in the air. But at the same time, I also said, what if you may not be able to fly like a bird flapping your arms? But what if you invented something where you can strap something onto your arms like a motor and stuff, and we are flying? I mean, look at things that we did not have 500 years ago compared to the things that we have now. A lot of people would have been slapping a lot of people saying
No, I know, but
that
like
you're
the
ridiculous.
I understand what you're saying, but in a realistic term, it's more like it's more health and safety, isn't it? Really, it's like look
Oh,
after
right, right,
yourself. You
right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right. But so okay, so then my question is, welcome, Shorty. My question is then, is it right to just outright call someone a failure?
To call someone a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it all depends. If you failed at the task in hand, then I suppose the person is going to say you failed. But whether you want to use that term in being horrible and saying you're a failure, then that's a different story. So I
No, I mean no,
suppose,
but I mean, but
yeah.
okay. So, would you ever tell one of your children that they are a failure?
No, no, never would I once say that. No,
Okay,
what?
so
I,
okay,
I
so
would no. If they failed at something, what I would do is encourage them to get better, not to like bring them down even more. You know.
okay, all right, all right. So there's a difference between calling someone a failure and giving your opinion that they will not succeed.
It's just the way that you approach saying that you've lost, I suppose. You can say that you're a failure in many ways, but to say that you're a failure is quite major, really.
It
To
is.
anyone to say that is quite major. I've never really heard anybody say that to anybody, to be honest with you. And honestly, sorry everyone in the chat. I do apologize. I hope everyone's doing very well. Yeah. So,
But you do have some people who call other people failure. You have people who are on the job and their boss may call them a failure. I do
no,
believe that
I've
you.
never even in I've trained over 60 to 80 people literally like but probably on the 75 mark. But like the point is that like I've known failures, but I've never said it to them. I've never met them feel like that, but I've automatically known that they are not going to be as good as what I interpreted. So they could be brilliant on their CV and come to me, and then when I see their skills, they are absolutely shit. But I could turn around and say, "You are shit. You are a failure." But will I? No, I bloody won't, because that's not what my job is. My job is to turn around and see if anyone's capable, and he wasn't. So I will refer to my managers and go, he's not the right candidate, and then he goes on his merry way. But I will not turn around and sit there and try and bring a man down, even though he's lied on his CV. Do you get where I'm coming from? I would
No,
never
yeah, no,
turn around. No, but because it can bring people to hurting themselves, That's why you'd never. That's why your subject is quite raw, because I have never heard anybody turn around and say that they are a failure. Never
I
once.
I have actually heard people call other people failures,
Just
and
to let
then
you know.
okay, all right. And I remember when my son was playing t-ball. We're talking about 4 and 5 year olds, and the way some of these parents get into the game. I and other parents actually witnessed a meltdown from a father because a 5 year old struck out and yelling and screaming at his kid that he's a failure, and to see this kid's face. So again, this is where, and I
That
say
is
the word the
disgusting. That is
it,
disgusting.
and caps, and it is, and I'm pretty sure that you have seen how some parents get all into the game and what have you, and the way they yell and they scream at their kids.
I understand that, but to
And
say that your
but
child is a failure is on another level.
yes, 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 it is. And this is where I say that their words hurt. So this is what I would like to know. When you say the word failure, and when you said that the person who was at that job and he lied on his CV or whatever, and he
Yeah,
just couldn't do
yeah,
it,
but
whatever.
I'm more
Is
positivity, so I kind of like. Go on, go on.
Camps. Hold on. But is a do we measure failure according to our own standards, meaning what you may consider succeeding, or what
No,
you may
look.
consider a failure?
Look, if you say you can do something and you can't, then I'm at a catch-22 in my job, because I'm there to help you along the way. So if you ain't even walking, never mind running. Like, your CV tells me you're running into this job, but now you're not even walking, you're crawling. So I can give you an option. Do you want me to teach you? And they're like, "Oh no, I know what I'm doing." I'm like, "Okay." So I give them a drawing. I say, "Make that product for me on that machine now. Program it." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then no,
Okay,
but listen, and then they fail. Yeah, they fail at doing that. Yeah, then I could turn around and go, "No, you're shit. You're crap. You're shit. You lied." I could say all of that, and I'd literally be able to, because they did, but I don't do that. You know what I do? I
okay,
go,
Caps.
no, because there's too many people to bring you down in this life, man. Trust
Okay,
me.
I
But you
I
do fail. Everyone fails in life, man.
Okay, I understand that. And Shorty is saying, wow, Mama Bear says that is bad. And Shorty says, I have. Shorty, when you say I have, are you saying that you have heard someone call someone else a failure? And again, I understand what Caps is saying, but okay, so Shorty says yes. Okay, so I understand what Caps is saying, but I'm also asking a question that could possibly be separate from what Caps is saying. Do we also, if we have expectations of people, I'm not necessarily saying on the job, but just expectations.
All
Um,
right. Can I
if
say something solid? Can I say one thing to you?
Go ahead.
All right. So when I was a kid, yeah, I got told I'd become to be nothing. Yeah. I got told constantly that I would be a failure. So like when you say things like that, like I genuinely had that all my life. You're thick as fuck. You're an idiot. You're this. You're that. Constantly got called names from my own father. And then when I left home and done my own thing and done what I needed to do, I've become my own person. So like, yeah, look, I know firsthand of being called a failure, to be God's honest. And I ain't going on a lot with my tissues and that, getting all upset and shit. But what I will say genuinely is that I've always known to be known as a failure. And I actually grew up and tried my hardest to not be a failure and tried to prove that motherfucker wrong. And yeah, I actually did do that. So yeah, so in a way, I can understand where you're coming from if you look at it from a different view. You know?
Okay. So, Caps, can I please make my point now?
Yeah, carry on.
All right. All right. So, again, do can we look at people and have our own expectations and think that because they don't live up to our personal expectations? I'm not talking about the job. I'm not talking about any of that. If we have our own personal expectations, that they are a failure. That just because you may think that someone should be here and they're there, they are a failure. But like I said, they were, trying to ride that bike. Yesterday they got on the bike and they failed. Oh, I'm sorry, and they fell off. But today they were able to ride a couple of feet. So to me, just because you're saying, "Oh, you still fell off the bike, whatever," you couldn't even make it down the block. But for them, it could be success because maybe tomorrow they will be able to ride that bike all the way down the block. So do we, look at other people and consider them failures when they are successes? And that's why I say that for some people, you just need to get other people out of your head and don't worry about what other people are saying and just keep doing you. Because if you keep trying, then you will succeed. So
Well,
that was the
yeah,
point that I wanted to
no, I
make.
fully agree, and that's yeah, it's perfect in what you just said. I fully agree. Yeah.
So again, how should we should people be expected to react to failures a certain way, or is failure personal? How you react to failure is one way, how I react to failure. I mean, I don't want to go out and if something doesn't go my way, no, I'm not going to go and get a gun and start shooting people or start beating up people or something like that. But
No,
is failure
look, you
still
can only
still
see it
personal?
through. You
But
can
but
only
is
see it
but
through
is
people,
but
I suppose.
is failure personal though? That how you deal with failure and react to it may not be the
The
way the other
failure
person
is
is, and you should not just
personal. I
because
see
you.
my son fail and he gets really pent up. He gets angry, man. And I'm like, shit. And I'm like, yo, kid, calm down. And I remember being that kid. That's the thing. It's all about experience. And I'm like, calm down. Don't worry. Oh, yeah, but this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, calm down. And then, you'll get better. You'll do well. And they'll play again, or they'll do something physically or mentally, and they'll do it, and they get better. It's all about the person who's next to them trying to fucking help them, you know. Unless you got
So
some
then,
mouth that's sitting in the corner not fucking helping them, and they go, "Yeah, you failed. You're a twat. You're a prick." That's the difference, really. You know. It all
but you know
depends
what
on your
though?
people around you.
You're right. But even if you call someone stupid, to me, are you calling them a failure? Welcome, Mr. A.
You're right,
Are you
Mister
calling
Guy.
them? Are you calling them a failure if you call them stupid?
Well, yeah, of
If
course you are.
someone
You
did
could, well,
something,
look, it all depends. You could have a laugh with your friend and call him stupid, and then you could
oh
hang on
yeah,
the fact that oh, you're calling me a degenerate and rare, rare, rare. It's like, well, it's all upon yourself and how you interpret the person, really, isn't it?
okay. So how do you welcome depression? That's an interesting name. Um, so how do you measure success?
Success is what your happy place is. So at the end of the day, as long as you're working and doing well and looking after yourself and you've got ground under your feet, I suppose that's your success. And if you got children, you're making sure they got clothes and just not even money, just making sure you're looking after them. That's success. So it all depends on your situation. You can't automatically say what success is. It all depends on your situation. No.
Okay.
Huh?
All right. So, Boss says this gets into participation trophy culture, which I think is harmful. Letting our children fail and grow from that failure is a huge part of life. It builds a character and sorts of weak from the strong. I'm not talking about participation trophies. I am talking about just basically how you deal with failure. I do not think you
Well, I
should
deal with
ever.
four
I don't
children
think
who
you should.
fail every day.
I don't think you should ever
You
tell
get me
any.
though.
Wait, Caps, hold on. I don't think you should
Just
ever.
imagine that though. No,
Caps.
I'm
Wait,
gonna
hold on, hold
leave
on,
in a
hold on, hold
minute.
on,
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
leave
Caps.
anyway. I've
Caps,
got to go.
hold on for a moment, Caps. I don't think you should ever tell a child they are a failure. I don't think you should ever tell anyone that they are a a failure. And yes, failure is a huge part of life, which I said at the beginning that you have to fail a couple of times in order to succeed. Many people in life have failed over and over and over again, and they have become success. I'm not talking participation culture or anything. I'm just asking, how do you react to failure? Caps, go ahead and welcome shy lady. Caps, go
No,
ahead.
I'm gonna go anyway. I'm knackered. But what I will say is, like, because I've had four children and like 14, 13, 12, and fucking 9, and they're all boys and girls, two boys, two girls. I've seen them win and I've seen them lose. I've seen them fail, you know. I've seen them fail many times, even by doing certain things in my house. And now I have corrected them and rendered them, and now they don't fail because instead of me going, you're a fucking idiot, which I wouldn't do anyway. But in my head, I'm probably thinking, and I'm going, what are you doing that for? Come on, you do it like this. But in the end, they will learn, and it's all upon us people to teach. So failure, you can look at failure, but you when you fail, you learn from it, and that's where my children have learned from it, and they get better and better and better. And just like I've learned from having children. I've learned from them growing up and seeing the ages that they are. It's amazing. But anyway, I ain't gonna waffle on. But well, I always do. But like, all I'm saying is, trust me, failure is amazing and important in life, because if you don't fail, you never fucking learn anything. For fuck's sake. All right.
Okay.
Love
All
you
right.
all.
Bye,
Love
Caps.
you all.
Okay. Welcome, Vinny, and welcome, Hanny J. Okay. So keep going on with the comments. Stinger says money doesn't necessarily mean success. No, it doesn't, Stinger, even though a lot of people do. Having a strong family is success. Yes. Hey, shy lady. Let's see. And Boss says you don't say they are a failure, but you tell them they failed this time. Hmm. Stinger says our government had been a giant failure for many years. Okay. Hey. Okay. Da, da, da. Everybody's saying hey, hey, hey. Okay. So, okay, Caps is leaving. Yes. Okay. So guys, some of you guys have come in towards the well, you guys miss a lot of the conversation, but not really. But basically, again, what is failure? And how do you react to it? Is failure personal? Because everyone does react to things differently. Like Cap said, out of 4 kids, he has one kid who reacts to failure. He takes it pretty hard. There are some people who can react to failing things, and they're like, oh, all right, okay, so I failed, okay, and then they get up and they are able to start over. Some people may think about it over and over and over and over. Um, you know, um, and then they finally get back on that bike or whatever, or so how do you react to failure? And should you, call people straight out a failure? Should you tell them that they failed? Um, or should you just say, it didn't work this time? Try again. Um, so let's see. Anybody see? Singer says failure can be not reaching the expectations you want. Okay, so Stinger says the expectations you want. So Stinger, I'm going to ask: is failure not reaching the expectations of someone else? And then Mama Bear says, tell them to try again. Vinny says, failing is necessary in life. Failing helps to learn on what your weakness is, and that's what you can work on to improve yourself. Never consider yourself as wrong if you fail or in your exams or in your life. Learning from mistakes is necessary, and mistakes are made when we fail. Fail means first attempt in learning. Also, the proverb, failures are the stepping stones to success, is true. Okay. Stinger says, not necessarily. Actually, I'm glad that Vinny did Google. Thank you. uh, okay. We don't have to say the F word. See, fail. Okay. So, but again, is failure personal? I mean, just because you react to failure a certain way, should you expect everyone else to? Just because you react to failure a certain way, do you think your kids should react to it the same way? And I'm gonna say the same thing with success. Just because you react to success one way, should you expect everyone else to react the same way? Is that personal? Is failure personal? That's okay, Betty. On my show, I've heard worse. Okay, and Stinger says yes, yes, it is very personal. Okay, so no, instead, your kids should learn that person should be judged because of failing. Okay, all right. So can I safely say that if you live in a family of 10, there are 10 people who are living in your or who are in your family, you all live under the same roof. Um, is everyone going to react the same way if you guys did some family function and you guys lost? Everyone's going to react differently. So can we expect other people to uh, react the same way that you did? Meaning, is it fair for a parent or a teacher or someone who is um, I don't want to say in control, because that is absolutely not the right word. Um, can we expect a person in authority? Let me put it like that: someone who is in authority to say that we should react to failure a certain way. And again, I'm not saying no, we should not go out and kill people or beat up people or anything like that. But can you tell someone how they should react to something? And is how we react to failure a personality trait? Anybody? Because I sort of think that it is. Um, I think how we react to anything is just our personality. Everyone is allowed to have their own feelings. Okay. All right, Vinny says, and given if they judge you because you failed, things can be explained in a nice way to them without offending them. Okay. So Vinny, then let's take that child who, didn't do so well in that race, or didn't do so well on that test. Do you tell them, like Bob says, that you failed this time? And I'm not saying that you. I mean, if you get an F on a test, if you failed a test, yes, you failed that test. Um, but if you don't do so well in that race, let's say you came in last, do you tell that child you failed this time? And again, I'm not talking about a test, because if you fail a test, you know this, you failed the test. But in competition or something, you have to use that word fail. Okay. Let's see. Boss says those who fail and give up after one attempt are weaker than those who keep trying. Okay. And Boss says there can be many factors to why someone would give up after one attempt, but they are definitely weaker. Okay. And it could be that maybe somebody fails after one attempt because they physically are not able to do something. I would not call those people necessarily weaker. Weak minded or weaker physically. It all depends. Both things can be worked on. Let's see. I would tell them, "Good job, you finished the race." I say, "Keep trying, and next time you will finish higher." Okay, so Mama Bear, you're going to give encouragement. Okay, so do you see people who I'm gonna use the weaker and the stronger thing? Do you see the people who are told that they're weaker, or that they're stronger than others? Do you think that the people who are told that they're weaker are going to end up not succeeding? Let's see. Vinny says failing is necessary in life. I'm sorry, I read that already. I'm sorry, my chat just jumped. Okay, so do you think people who are told that they are weaker, or they failed, or you suck? I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard people say you suck, whatever. Do you think that those people grow up to be successes? Mama Bear says they may feel bad about themselves for a long time. Okay. All right. Because the reason why I ask again is because you have a lot of people in history who are, you know, total successes, who have been told that they suck, that they're failures. You know, you can't do it. Uh, you shouldn't be here. And they've become successes. Okay. Benny says sometimes negativity can be used as a medium to give positivity to people. Okay, that is true. That is true. Um, I would never tell a kid he could never do something. Mama Bear, neither would I, because they'll find out on their own, or that kid who was told that he could not do something, you know, you end up seeing that they can. I mean, because it's interesting. You have people who tell people all the time that they can't do something. You know, you cannot do this. You'll never do this. You'll welcome Jester, welcome. You know, you can't do something. You'll never amount it to anything, and they end up, like I said, being some of the most successful people. And I also think it's very harmful to tell a child that they can never do something, um, especially if you see them working on something and they're really trying really hard. You know, sometimes they have to learn on their own, and they will without you putting it in their ear that they're going to fail or you're not going to be able to do it. Sometimes it's best just to let them see for themselves. You know, so let's see. Of course, Jester and Ba. Okay, y'all watch it on my show here. This is a daytime show, even though sometimes it don't always seem like it. So, guys, again, do you think that telling a person that they're going to fail at something is the same as telling a person that that same person that they're going to succeed at something? And what I mean by that is, if you can consistently tell someone that they're a failure or that you failed at something, are you, well, you know what? I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to nix that. But let me just ask this: how many people in the chat feel that you should tell a child that they are a failure? Not that they failed at something, but they are a failure. Never ever, not me. Only if they fail, never. Okay. And Jester, I disagree with you on that one. Okay. How many people should tell people that they failed at something? Now my first question was that they are a failure. How many people tell a child that they failed at something? And I'm not, when I say fail at something, again, I'm not talking about that you failed a test. If you failed a test, you know that you didn't pass. Never tell them they failed, but not that they are a failure. Okay. Do you think, and I asked the question about a child. Now I'm going to ask, is there a difference between telling a child that they failed and telling an adult that they failed? Is there a difference? Because are you assuming that that adult can handle it better than that child, but you're still telling someone that they failed? Is there a difference between telling an adult that they failed as opposed to telling a child? Okay, Mama Bear says, I would never tell my son he failed. Okay, you word it differently. No difference. So, guys, do you think that no matter how old you are and someone is trying something, and they're really thinking that it's going to work, do you think that sometimes it's just best to let people just see on their own whether it will work or whether it won't? And I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about even if your kid comes home and they have to do that dreaded science project that is due every year, you know, and they're working on it and they have their idea that they're going to do this. And you're looking at it like, I don't think that's going to work, but you know, whatever. Are you just going to come out and tell your child that their project is not going to work? Or if you have that coworker who, goes home every night and he goes into his basement or garage, wherever, and they're working on this thing, whatever, and you're looking at it like, that's not going to work. Is it sometimes just to sit back and just be quiet and let the people find out for themselves whether it will or will not work, whether their project was a success or a failure? Okay, Mr. A says, I've coached a lot of youth and I've never once told one of them they are a failure or fail. I just tried to talk them into trying to practice harder. Okay, Bob says, well, maybe I can add more to that. Sit your child down and tell them they fail and they need to work harder and help them. Whereas with an adult, he should know all that already. But to say, but why are you going to use the word failed? I mean, is there another way to word it? And the reason why I asked that, Bob, is because some children, not all, but some children, they in internalize things. So they consistently hear a parent hear the word fail, 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 fail. That could backfire, because in order to succeed, you need to accept failure. And I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. So again, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you the question: if your child comes home and they have to do that science project, and they picked out their thing that they wanted to do, and Bob says that we had, and I'm not talking about participation trophies. You keep talking about participation trophies. I'm not talking about participation trophies. I'm not talking about participation trophies. No, no, I am not. I am not talking about participation trophies. I'm telling you that is not what I'm talking about. So if your child comes home and they have a science project and they picked out the subject that they want to do, and you don't think that it's going to work, but they think that it is, and part of a science project is making the thing work, building it, whatever, uh, are you going to allow them to work on that project on their own? Or if you see that something's going wrong, you're going to tell them that they're going to fail, or that it's not a good, or if you don't think it's a good subject, that they should do something else, but this is what they chose to do? Are you just going to allow them to just work it out for themselves? Okay, Shorty says you can use the word unsuccessful instead of using the word failure or loser. Bob says, because when they go into the big white world and get criticism, do you want them to burst into tears and give up? No, but I doubt very seriously that they would. This is what's happening today. Weak-minded people everywhere. Okay, so you're turning this into something completely different from what I am talking about. So, again, everyone, I will ask everyone, if you saw your child and they came home with this project and you didn't think it was going to work, would you let them work it out for themselves? And if it didn't work, then they learned on their own that this particular project that I wanted to turn in did not work. But they did succeed in one thing, that at least they followed through with it. They followed through with it to see whether or not it was going to work or not. And even if it didn't work, they succeeded in doing it, following through, whatever, if it was a success or not, at least they did, at least they did it. Okay. No, I'm going to help as much as you can. Okay. All right. Welcome, Crucible, to probably about the last 6 minutes, because I will be wrapping this up early. So, um, okay, so Shorty, if your kid said, no, no, mom, I want to do it on my own, would you allow them to do it on their own, even though if you see that this is not going to turn out so well, would you still allow them to do that project on their own? I mean, technically they should be doing it on their own. We know there are projects that parents have help with. So, do they say they want to do it on their own, even if they are going down the wrong path, even though they should be using this particular thing as opposed to that particular thing. Would you allow them to just work it out on their own? Uh, okay, so Shorty says yes. Okay, so at the end of this project, and I'm asking because this has happened. We've all, not all of us, but some of us have gone to uh, science fairs where your kid has had to turn in something, and you see all these other projects that are there. Some of them were successes, some of them were not, whatever. But people still, that your kid still turns this project in, even though it may not work the way that it should, even though the motor only stays on for 2 seconds when it's supposed to stay on the entire time, or whatever, or maybe the glue is coming apart and you wanted to tell them that they should have used super glue, or gorilla glue or whatever, but they use regular old Elmer's, whatever, and it's falling apart. But they're smiling and they're happy, whatever. Are you happy for them, or are you standing there cringing and criticizing their project, thinking that it could have been better? But they're happy. They're happy that they turned in this project that could be falling apart, not working that well, but they did it on their own. Are you happy that they did it? Because for them, it was not a failure, it was a success. And Shorty says, because that made them responsible and they feel good because they did it on their own. They are happy. It makes me happy. Yes, Mama Bear. Oh, yes, I will be happy. So would everyone be happy? Or would some of you be standing there criticizing their project? And is it the fact that maybe you don't like that it will reflect on you? Or see, Vinny says, well, we can explain to them for once that they are doing wrong, but if they don't listen, probably they will get to know later of what mistake they made. Okay, let me read this again. Well, we can explain for them for once that they are doing wrong, but if they don't listen, probably they will get to know later or what mistake made them a failure, and they will correct it next time. But did that mistake make them a failure, Vinny? Did it make them a failure? And Crucible says there are many ways to measure success. And Mama Bear says, I wouldn't do that to my son. Neither would I. And no way. At least they try. And this is what I'm saying. If they, again, did something, whether it's a science project or not, and it's falling apart, they were supposed to use this type of screw and they didn't, whatever. But they were just happy that they got something. They're happy that they built something or they made something, whatever, and they are just pleased as punch, and mainly because they did it on their own. Because another way of succeeding is also being able to figure things out on your own without somebody telling you that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes you have to figure it out on your own, and not just for children, but for adults too. And you don't want someone constantly there going, "Oh, you're not doing that right," blah 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 blah, whatever. And even though we all have, because I know I have, I've been that backseat driver going, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that," whatever. But then when you see, that just, you know, that person who you're telling that to, just saying, "Can you just let me be and just let me do this on my own?" And the fact that they did it on their own and they got something, maybe everything didn't work right, but even if only one thing works, but they're happy that at least they did something, at least they turned in something, at least they did something, as opposed of not trying at all. And I guess that's my point. um Failure can sometimes be quickly followed by success. Crucible says, Vinny says, okay, I will not. My bad. Sorry. Okay, I mean that's your opinion, Vanny. That's your opinion. Mama Bear says I had that growing up, so I would always praise them. Okay, so when you said you had that growing up, you saying that people calling you a failure, Mama Bear, is that what you're saying? Welcome, Angie. Or you had people praising you growing up? I was told I couldn't do something, so I wouldn't try. And and Justice says I got no praise. Okay, see, I mean, I don't know. I just feel that whether or not the person is doing something wrong, whatever, if they're at least trying, if they at least want to do it, just let them do it. You know, and again, it is like riding a bike. You get on the bike the first time, you're going to fall. Well, maybe not everybody, but most most people would. You get on the bike the second time, you are going to go a little bit further. But if someone says, let me do it on my own, let them. And you, to me, you give them encouragement that they're at least doing it, at least they are trying. So I don't know. I'm and yes, you all can say I'm the participation trophy mom, but I was that mom who every single play, every single every I don't care what it was, when before my son was homeschooled, I was at every single play. I was at, and having to sit there usually through two performances. You had one at the at at the be in the afternoon. Then you have the one in the evening. My husband and I were both there in the evening, whatever. But I was there for both. I rearranged my schedule. I was there. I was that parent who, and to this day, if there's an art show or something, he's like, "Hey, mom, I'm in this art show, whatever." I am there. And I think that matters. And I'm glad that I had parents who came to every performance that my sister and I had, whatever. You need that, because I think that you tend to be a cynic if you don't. And I would never ever tell a child that they failed. you know um I would help them along. I would give them my opinion. But if your kid, especially if your kid says, "Let me do it on my own," and there were many times that I heard that, "Mom, I want to do it on my own. Dad, can I just do it by myself?" And we're like, "Okay, go ahead." And the end result was not always perfect, but that smile on his face, that was total success. So I don't know. See, Mom Bear says, and I will always tell my son he can try something. Yes. You all are saying hello to each other. I tell my son stuff that I wasn't told. Okay, Mama Bear. Vinny says, that's nice. Me too, Shorty says. Says, it's okay to give constructive criticism to our children, and sometimes harmful to give them false praise. And I would never, ever give my child false praise. But I am going to say that if they did something on their own, I am going to say, good for you that you actually did it, that you attempted to do it on your own, that you wanted to, because you have a lot of people who won't even try, but you have a lot of people that will. So I will never give false praise, but I am going to give praise if you try. Mama Bear says, I tell him I'm proud of him and love him every day. So do I, Mama Bear. If my child is a horrible singer, I wouldn't allow them to audition for the X Factor. Well, if your child is a horrible singer, and it's interesting how you say you wouldn't allow them to audition for the X Factor, but I guess in UK, if they're 16, they can do it. They can do it anyway. I mean, if your child is 18 and they want to audition for the X Factor, maybe that's the way for them to find out that they are a horrible singer. If they think that they can sing and they want to audition for all these shows, what have you, maybe that's what they need to do, so they can see that maybe I really can't sing. So okay. Mama Bear says, I go to everything, makes you a proud mother. Yes, it does. Thank you everyone for liking the show. So guys, that's it. Caps was up here earlier, so we heard what he had to say. Um, I am going to end the show early. I'm sorry, I have other commitments, but see, Bob says if my channel is horrible. Okay, I'm sorry, my chat keeps jumping. Thank you, Mama Bear. No, Vinny, your opinion was not wrong. I mean, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has something to say. So if whatever you said, if that's what you said, that is what you said. If that's what you think, then that is what you think. So I'm not going to push back on, if if that's what you think. I can disagree, and other people can disagree. But if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. So okay, so everyone, thank you so much for coming. And Jester, I hope you are safe, and having a good time, and stay safe, um, and make it home safely. Thank you, Vinny. And Angie Crucible, I'm sorry you guys came in later, but thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate it. And Caps, again, I know you're not here. Thank you for popping on. And Frankie and Power Girl and Ba and Crucible, everyone, thank you so much for coming. Juju. And on that note, guys, enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye. And Juju, I hope your sound. Shorty, I'm sorry, I did not thank you. Shorty, thank you for coming. I am so sorry. Juju, I hope your sound got better. Okay, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and bye.